All right, guys, I'm going to run through some of the examples from your worksheet. So one of the main things you need to understand is that the sine squared of theta is the same thing as getting the sine value and squaring it. So we're going to use that like the entire time. For this first one that says cosine squared 45 equals 1 minus sine squared 45, what we're going to do is get the cosine. Let me try to move this. We're going to get the cosine of 45 degrees and square it. And that's going to equal 1 minus, we're going to get the sine value of 45 degrees and square that. So if you look at your chart, cosine 45 is root 2 over 2. We're going to square that. That's going to be equal to 1 minus, and the sine of 45 is also root 2 over 2, which we're going to square. Root 2 over 2 squared is going to give us 2 over 4. That's going to equal 1 minus 2 over 4. Which is really 1/2 equals 1 minus 1/2. So we get 1/2 equals 1/2, and we're done with that problem. Another problem would be like this one, 1 plus tan squared 60 equals secant squared 60. I'm pretty sure this is number 2 on your sheet. So it's 1 plus, let's grab the tan of 60 and square it. Tan of 60 is root 3. Equals the secant of 60, which we're also going to be squaring. Now secant is the reciprocal of cosine. The cosine of 60 is 1/2, so the secant of 60 is the reciprocal of that, which is 2. So this is 1 plus root 3 times root 3 is going to be 3, equals 2 squared, which is 4. We get 4 equals 4, and we're done. Another part of the sheet, the second part of the sheet, talks about determining whether things are true and false. So for this one, the first problem is sine squared 60 plus cosine squared 60 equals 1. So we're going to grab the sine of 60 and square it. We're going to grab the cosine of 60 and square it. And we're going to see whether or not that actually equals a 1. So the sine of 60 is root 3 over 2. The cosine of 60 is 1/2. If we square root 3 over 2, we get 3 over 4. Plus, if we square 1/2, we get 1/4. 3/4 plus 1/4 is 4/4, which equals 1, so we're in good shape. The other one from that section I want to go over is number 8, which is sine squared 30 plus cosine 60 equals 1. I put a squared here, but it's not squared. So sine of 30, and then we're going to square it, and then the cosine of 60 is 1/2. The sine of when we square 1/2, we get 1/4 plus 1/2 equals 1. 1/4 plus 1/2 does not equal 1. So this one is true. This one is false. On the other side of your sheet, or on sheet 2 or something, is going to be these types of problems where it's looking for a theta between 0 and 360 that meets this criteria. In this case, the sine of that theta has to be 1/2. So what we want to do is determine where sine is positive. Sine is positive here and here, quadrants 1 and 2. I'm going to make an angle over here. I'm going to make another angle over here. Go to your chart and look at what has a sine value of 1/2. It's 30 degrees. So this guy is going to be 30. Over here in quadrant 2, if we take 180 and subtract 30, that puts us at 150. These two angles are both between 0 and 360. So our answer is that theta equals 30 degrees and 150 degrees. And last one, we've got secant theta equals -2. So that was the other one was number 21. This is number 25 on your sheet. All right, again, secant is the same thing as cosine in terms of the positives and negatives. Cosine is negative. Let me move this down. Cosine is negative in these two quadrants right here. If the secant is the reciprocal of cosine and you go look at your sheet, you're going to find out that if we have a cosine of 1/2, we're looking at 60 degrees. So our reference angle is 60 degrees, but that's not one of the quadrants that we're in because we need a negative secant. 60 degrees away from 180 is 120. And 180 plus 60 degrees is 240. So these guys are our actual answers. So theta equals 120 degrees and 240 degrees.